Well, we're live. Welcome to the Dr. G Show. We're missing someone, which you guys are probably going to ask about as you guys come online. But today we're missing the infamous Holly Hajaja. So she's not here today. She's taking the day off, which is funny because today we're talking about wise women and why the future is female without her. So we just have a guy talking with his shirt half unbuttoned, looking like the 70s about this. So thanks you guys for joining. So last time we've talked, good Lord, we talked like almost nearly a month on heart disease. We talked about part 1, part 2, and part 3. If you guys have any follow-up questions on that too during this one, feel free to pipe in. Also, I want you guys to kind of really engage in this conversation as much as you want, because today we're talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, even though I'm not a woman. Although a lot of times when I would go through fast food when I was younger, they would think I was a woman, and then sometimes on the phone when I was younger, they thought I was a woman. So that's just because I have a gentle voice, I assume. Hey, there's Newman. Good to see you there. So we want to talk about sorry. Just a second here. So the reason it's important is I have 4 daughters, right? And so I have 2 sisters, I have a mom, I have aunts. I come from almost all female family. My dad wasn't really at home. And so when we talk about this wise women and why the future is female, I like it because I grew up with all women. I'm very comfortable talking about all this stuff. I'm very comfortable with the idea of, everybody kind of joined at the hip and going forward at the same time, at the same speed, because it's normal to me, Hey, there's Katie. How you doing? And Sabrina. So, my daughters are very independent thinkers, and I love that. And so I love all this movement now towards, female as the future, and how kind of women are ruling the world, and they're up and coming and really making these huge differences. And Janine says hi from Australia. Right, mate. Crikey. So, female empowerment is a huge topic, but a lot of times as guys, we view, let's say, white guys, right? Me, although genetically I'm black from West Africa, so I can speak from everybody's standpoint, I guess. So, according to 23andMe, right? So, the idea that I think about this. Years ago, I could literally trade my children for horses. I could trade my wife for a horse. They were property, and that's insane. I don't know what dad would be not, what kind of dad would not be okay in that kind of situation. But that's how guys used to be, and that's how some guys still are. But the idea that women have an equal rights, women have making the same income, women having saying over their bodies, women fully participating in government and politics and business and running companies. That takes nothing away from me as a white dude, right? As a male guy. Other people's rights don't take away from my rights. And that's the problem with kind of the male privilege scenario, is the people that have the privilege will tell you they don't have privilege and how hard it is to be, a white male. But let me ask you guys something. Well, we're going to ask a series of questions. Who makes more money for the same exact job, men or women? Just right off the bat. Who's more likely to make the most money? Hey, Rhonda. Well, there's not very fast answers here. Hey, Linda. So, we could also have alright, so Sabrina finally answered. Men, right? So, with the idea of, and Ron says men. So, men make almost a quarter more than women do, right? For the same exact job. For my daughters, that's not okay. That is not okay. Who makes more money, a white woman or a black woman? Because we're equal society, we've transposed or transformed ourselves, right? Well, startlingly enough, you guys are going to answer this, and I'm going to tell you the numbers. Oh, here it is. Yeah. All right. So, this is crazy. So, 50% of the workforce is women. Oh, sorry, 57%. 57%. There are more women in the workforce now than men, right? More. There's more women in college than men. There's more women in medical school than men. We're all going to be reduced to being jackasses who play PlayStation and I don't know what the hell, dick around all day, you know? So 50%, not me though, but 57% of the workforce is women. So the majority of the workforce is women, but women earn 77 cents for every dollar that a white male makes. And if the woman is black, she only makes 64 cents for every dollar a man makes, a white man makes, right? And for Hispanic women, it's 56 cents for every dollar that a white male makes. That's insane. That's just unacceptable. And so again, my daughters, being, I'm a white guy, a white wife, and my kids are white, and so they're going to make the higher amounts from the lower amounts that women get, but that's not okay. It's not okay. And so as women become the future, as female becomes the future, and women are dominating, it doesn't take away anything from guys. It really doesn't. Now, luckily, there's no guys that watch my show, so we're not going to have any disagreements. Oh, except for Tim. Tim watches. Oh, and Newen. Newen's okay with all this, I'm sure. So otherwise, I'm going to get a bunch of hate mail and be like, you don't know how hard it is being a white man in America. It's like, yeah, because we had to work hard to make the same amount that we make. That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. Well, this is pretty good. Okay, so these are some disturbing facts. I'm going to talk about all kinds of stuff, but I want you guys to chime in on this, okay? Again, the Dr. G show is really y'all's show. But I want to talk to you guys. We're doing some interesting things with the wise-minded women in Newton, and then also the wise women ICT in ICT or Wichita. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. But I want to talk about some disturbing facts, and I want you guys to talk about things that you've overcome, things that you guys had to kind of deal with, and Tracy Holderman, who he's on our board, he's really awesome. But he has 5 or 7 aunts or something like that. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. But they were all like these really in charge women back in the day. And so like one of his aunts was the first warden of a prison, right? And then one of the one of the aunts helped decide all the college textbooks or all the high school or school textbooks in the state of California. His mom helped write the rape laws for the state of Kansas. Like, it is amazing sitting there talking to, or even growing up with all that. My mom was very, very strong. Like, she's kind of mean sometimes, but she overcame a ton, right? And it kind of broke her in the process. And I don't want my daughters to go through that. So 4 out of 5 victims of human trafficking are girls, which WSU has a human trafficking thing over here. I think with Countryman Rose maybe running that. But that's a huge issue. In fact, Wichita is one of the hubs for human trafficking. But 4 out of 5. Now, again, that doesn't dismiss the 1 out of 4 that are guys. 1 out of 5 that are guys. But 30% of women have suffered abuse in their relationships. And I actually thought that was pretty low, because there was another statistic that women at concerts who have suffered kind of groping, that kind of stuff, was like 92%. 92%. So 30% seems awfully low. You guys think that's true? 30%. Maybe there's a lot more nicer guys than I thought, right? And then American women serving in the military are more likely to be raped by their peers than the enemy. That's insane. It's not okay. And actually now we have women now able to serve in full combat. We have full female combat regime, I don't know, regimes or groups, or what are they called? Battalions maybe, I don't know. And then last year, over 304 colleges in the U.S., 304 have pending sexual violence investigations going against the college or university, not just incidents. And then women 15 to 44 are more likely to be raped or abused than are affected by cancer or car accidents. In the tech field, so technology, women only account for 25%, which is, that's obviously just crazy. But women are always told, and I have lots of patients that talk about this, where they're like, I was told we're not good at math, you can't do math, you might as well just give up, and really just disparage the idea of doing math. But I like it, I think it was NASA, that one picture where that woman wrote all that complicated code to run one of the space missions. Those things are usually overlooked, but there's no reason. It's the same thing. There's men that cook well, there's women that cook well, there's men that do math well, there's women that do math well. It's all the same. And then only 1/3 of researchers are women. And then in New York, the New York Times said this is funny. The New York Times said there is more CEOs named John than all women CEOs together. That's crazy. So, that sounds pretty bad, right? But if you look on the opposite side of kind of where we're going with this, right? So we say the future's female, more women are starting in politics than ever before, more women are in college, more women are leading in companies. And so basically times are changing. So as maternal turns back to paternal, so we used to be a maternal society, and then we changed to this paternal society. Even with the AMA, how it used to be ran by pretty much women, and then it became this paternal organization, and then we kicked out the women and said, well, you can be nurses and help us. And then now it's going back to where the females are the doctors leading the organization, or the whole field now. But more women in college, we said that, more women in medical school. Over 9.9 million firms are now owned by women. And just think, in 1821, women could not even own property. And 200 years later, there's almost 10 million women that own businesses. Only took 200 years. It only took since the dawn of man till now. Women-owned businesses are growing 5 times faster than the national average. Women now make up 1/3 of all entrepreneurs. So again, if you look at the bad side, 2/3 are male, but 1/3 are female. That's huge. There's actually some really great incubators that are just for women. There's coding incubators that are just for women now. So really kind of fostering that relationship with technology, encouraging them, empowering them. And black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurs in the U.S. So that's pretty awesome. And now women hold 20% of the seats in Congress. So think about that. That's, if you look at women's history, like the women's rights movement, which really was not that long ago, which is crazy. I mean, it's just, I could not imagine, my daughters could not do these things, I would have been right there in the women's suffrage movement, protesting to get, because it's not fair. My daughter should have every right. But you have basically 100% of men deciding the outcome of 100% of women. And so now at least 1/5 of the seats in Congress are actually women. So 1/5 of women get to decide what happens to 100% of women. So we're getting there. Women are now, full combat in the military. I remember that was a big deal. But of course, it's fine. Women can shoot guns just as well as guys, or in some of the cases, they can get shot just as easy as a guy can. 2009, there was 2009, there was the first female Marine Corps team conducted the first combat mission, I think, in Afghanistan. So it took till 2009 for that even to be a thing. And then 2013, the Pentagon announced all positions in the military are now open to women. Oh my God, women can be generals and stuff. Oh my God, the world's gonna fall apart now. So, it's bullcrap. All right. So, anyways, I want to kind of again post your guys' thoughts. I have a few questions on these too. We're gonna go through, but one of them was, what are your guys? Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a few questions as we go through this. So when we're talking about kind of wise women, the female being future, I'm going to ask a few questions, and I want you guys to kind of post your thoughts as we go through this. So we're going to skip the women's reproductive rights because that'll just be a long argument. But what about women's enrollment in the military academies and service in active combat? So what are your guys' thoughts? Because we have a wide spectrum of people watching the show. What do you guys think about having full female combat units now, and about women, basically bombing bridges and flying planes and shooting the enemy and driving tanks? Again, to me, it's just like, who cares? What do we care? Why do we care about that? But why don't they? But that's a good one. So I want you guys to kind of answer what your thoughts are on that. And this is a really interesting one too, is women in leadership roles in religious worship. So, a lot of times it's very natural. Women tend to be the person that kind of gets everybody off to church and kind of drives the focus for faith in the family. I know they want guys to do that, but guys are inherently selfish sometimes and very distractible, and we don't do it most of the time. So women do that. But what's really interesting is that women then are kind of prohibited from the idea of running any kind of leadership within church. And we actually had this in our church where we had this wonderful church we went to, and it was just like, it was the church for the unchurched. We had people from that were just released from prison all the way to doctors and lawyers, and we had tattoos everywhere and suits, and it was just amazing, because to me it was just like, this is what church should look like, right? Not a bunch of homogenized people all chanting the same thing, but really diversity within the church. Every race, every economical is represented, But then when our pastor left, a woman, oh my God, hold on your horses, led the church in prayer and worship. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was anarchy. How dare a woman think she could lead people to Jesus? That's crazy. Oh, sorry, Southern Baptist coming out. So that was just wild. And they actually kicked her out of the church. They locked her out and her whole family. And changed the keys to the doors. She founded the church. But how dare she stand up there and lead men to Christianity? That's blasphemous to them, right? So, I have some strong opinions about that. But I want to hear your guys' opinions too. And of course, mommy tracks, should businesses accommodate women for family responsibilities? What's really funny is we ask that question, should American companies accommodate women, right? But in the rest of the world, most women get paid maternity leave. And in a lot of countries, guys get paid paternity leave. Guys get to actually stay home for a little bit, help mom and help the baby because she just had a baby, right? And then they also have services to help kind of child care and all that kind of stuff, so women can actually go to work or not go to work, do what the hell they want to do, right? Because the whole drive of this movement isn't that women become the boss or women go to work. Women can do what the hell they want to do, right? Just like guys can do what the hell we want to do. I was a stay-at-home dad, right? Well, I could do that. And what's funny is if I push the girls around in the stroller, or if I'm carrying my daughters, I'm the greatest father that ever lived. He paid with them. Oh my God, right? Well, I'm just doing the same thing that the mom does. Like, but because I do it, it's a big deal. But then when she goes to work and I stay at home, some people really scorn that. But children need their fathers. Daughters need their fathers. Guys can raise children just the same. So it doesn't mean one or the other, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. It's really just being equal and deciding what roles everybody wants to play. And maybe they're mixed roles, kind of like I had. So you guys are being awfully quiet here. What are you guys' thoughts? As you guys process some of that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the project that we came up with. So me and a group of friends were trying to kind of figure out what we could do in the community to help with this. And the one thing that we came up with was what's called the Wise-Minded ICT. And so how could we help kind of like tag or, kind of walk side by side with this movement, but do it in such a way that we can help empower and be a part of the positive process that goes along with this, so that there's a better future for my daughters out there. And so we came up with that Wise-Minded ICT. And so I'm very excited about this. I'm on the board, right? I'm a board member. I don't even get bored because I'm always talking. So, and I bring costumes to the meetings and masks, so we jackass around a little bit. So the way that we structured this, and there's one coming up here on September 15th called the Wise-Minded Women in Newton. It's an all-day thing, and then we have 4 of them in Wichita for this year and next year. And there'll be 7 to 10 speakers. So basically, people will show up and we'll do like friendly yoga. So you can sit in your chair and do yoga. You don't have to, worry about, bringing a mat or doing anything crazy. And then we have what's called a plenary speaker, a main speaker. And the main speaker will talk for about an hour. Then we'll have breakfast. And then we'll have what are called downtime activities. And then we have 3 breakout sessions. And so there's basically 6 speakers. You can go to A or B, C or D, E or F. And each one of those offers a unique perspective on this kind of transformative journey that they've been on. And that kind of what led them to where they are, and how they can help us, and how we can kind of all join together and elevate each other. Then we have the final speaker. And then we do meditation, which is going to be awesome. And then we do the most amazing thing. We drink wine and appetizers and mingle around and talk to each other. So, and I say we because I'm going. So, I'm part woman because I have 4 daughters. If you have 4 daughters, you're technically kind of a woman. So, like that, right? Like moms that have 4 boys, they're kind of a boy too. So, I'll probably be serving everybody or something. I'll figure out some way to serve, just so I can be a part of it. And so, I'll probably be drinking a lot of the wine, maybe just a little bit. I probably have to taste each wine. I'll be a sommelier. Be a sommelier. At the Newton one, though, too, we'll have kombucha tasting. So I don't know if you guys know this, but at Prairie Harvest in Newton, they have this big bar, like a real bar. But instead of having Guinness and Heineken on tap, they have kombucha on tap. And so I think they have maybe like 6 or 7, 8 maybe different kombuchas that are locally made. And they are fantastic. So I love when I'll go there, and then I go down to Etc., which is the like Mennonite thrift store, which everything's dirt cheap. So I try to like find something, usually old records and stuff, or unique T-shirts. But they have a kombucha bar, so there'll be a kombucha tasting part of the downtime. And also, if you guys don't know, they make pepper nuts, which I didn't know. People don't know what pepper nuts are. Actually, I didn't know what pepper nuts were until I came to Kansas. And then apparently it's like, I think, a Mennonite Kansas thing maybe. So, but they have a little pepper nut factory going on there that will do some taste testing. So that'd be kind of cool. But Prairie Harvest has been very, very generous in helping kind of promote this and being a part of this. And yeah, it's going to be great. So the vision of this movement is connecting area women who are inspirational, influential, and substantial with other women, helping each other elevate through shared stories and education. And basically, Tara, who does Terasol Yoga, she is like fantastic at all this, and she'll be teaching, I think, the yoga or the meditation, the first one. But she came up with this idea, like real women telling real stories about real lives, and really creating this journey kind of mentality to elevate other women. So we came up with through the symposiums, we were encouraging women to be healthier, happier, stronger, and secure. So the Wichita ones, each one, like the September 29th is about healthier women. Then the October 13th happier women. And then the January 19th is the stronger women. And then the final one that's in February 2nd is more secure women. So kind of wrapping on, putting all that together. And we have, the speakers are going to be amazing. Like, I'm so excited. So excited. And I get in for free, so I'm a volunteer. So I get in free. But basically creating those four things together through shared collective journeys, transformative lectures, workshops, dynamic presentations, and supportive and nurturing and empowering environments. So, basically elevating women. And I know we were supposed to have a talk a while back, but I came up with some. The more I did research on like why we're doing this and kind of like presenting this, I was just like, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with America that we have to like, why do we have to do this? Like, we create this situation, and you guys tell me if this is true or not, right? But not only do women have to endure men, especially white men, crushing them down and creating these ceilings that don't exist so that they could only get so high, make so much money, get so far in their career, right? They can't even be in all careers. That's the craziest thing, right? So not only do they have to endure that, but we actually have cultivated women to hurt each other, to really not mentor and elevate each other, but really hurt and keep each other down. So there's that mentality that when women actually get up, they push other women down. So instead of saying, I made it, I'm going to bring everybody with me, it's, I made it, you guys are competition, keep you out. Oh, and Michelle asked, can you post more information on this gathering? So it's actually very simple. It's at wisewomenICT.com. And the ICT is because that's the Wichita Airport Terminal name, I guess, but ICT. So wisewomenICT.com. So I don't know if you guys feel that, right? But that idea that other women would try to crush and destroy other women as they get more elevated is ridiculous. And so guys, we tend to be like, I'm in, you guys are in, you know, and then we'll like maybe push a few away or something, right? But usually it's just, you know, we like try to take over everything. Like countries, religions, governments. America. So that's one of the things we really wanted to on the board was kind of talk about how to elevate without, or you know, kind of elevate by changing that atmosphere. And so hopefully the way that we have structured the symposiums is really women helping women elevate women, and guys can come too. But guys don't ever go to anything. So I'll be there. Tracy might be there. Scott will be there. There'll be some guys there, right? Because that's what most guys fear. And that's when you talk about women empowerment, you usually are men are like, well, then I'll have less power. No, you'll have a healthier, happier, stronger, more secure woman, and your life will be easier. Men's lives are easier with stronger, happier women. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's true. And you cannot keep a strong woman down. Oh, see, Brianna says she knows that happens, right? The ones that elevate crush the rest, but she never did it. She did that whole career and never crushed the others. And that's what I like. I don't know if you guys know me, but I'm very much like that. I'm just like, hey, let's help you up. Let's help you up. Let's help you up. Let's help you up. I have all these people that like, they get paid for consulting stuff. I'm just like, oh, here's some free information. I'm paying $200,000 for my education, and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of it for free, So, I don't know. We want to kind of embrace that stuff, those kind of people, really. And I want to talk to you guys. I posted this earlier, but I want to get your guys' feedback too, because this has been a really interesting practice. I don't know if well, I bet you do, right? But being a guy and being a part of this has been a really interesting journey for me. Just saying, let's see. Linda says, crap. Let's see. I can't do it. Okay, I'm trying to see more, but those are the smiley faces. So Linda says, I think competition has been since Adam and Eve, deactivating the norms of what society has needed. Yeah, that's funny, because Adam and Eve, the same kind of thing, right? Women screwed it all up. Man took his rib, created this woman, and she messed it all up by eating an apple from the snake. So it kind of puts women on that lower peg. It kind of diminishes women. So one of the interesting things that we created through this, as a guy sitting at this table, it's been really interesting to watch how processes go differently, because often when women try to do leadership and run things, they try to do it as a guy, right? And Brianna says he ate the apple too. Nobody remembers that part. And it's funny, because if you watch, I kind of like that, women that kind of like, oh, I'm just like a guy now, so I can make inappropriate jokes and fart and to say horrific things, and now I'm one of the guys, I'm the leader. But I heard a while back, like, just because women run things differently doesn't make it right or wrong. And so through this process, I kind of sit back and I kind of listen to what everybody's saying, but especially the really strong women in the room. It's been interesting, because I'm a very a task-oriented guy, and then they're talking about really, what does this mean, and how do you interpret this, and I thought, my instinct was like, we're wasting time. But then the other part is just kind of shut up and listen and kind of get the idea of what's going on that's different, and be okay with that. And after, I kind of embraced that and kind of just let my kind of like male ego go down just a little bit and just open myself up. It was actually a transformative meeting. It really was. So when the idea of having these strong female leaders and kind of being able to sit and watch how they do things differently was really awesome. It actually was. It was very awesome. Because a lot of times they just try to be alpha guys, but for some they are. I dated an alpha girl, and she sat at my place at the table. That's I always have to sit with my back to the wall in restaurants so I can see what's going on, just in case something goes down. I can be prepared. And then she would sit there. I don't know. So it'll be interesting. Times change. All right, so as we kind of wind down on this, and you guys haven't really been talking much, Holly's usually asking all the questions. All right, so Brianna posted in here. In the 70s, I was one of the few women in my field. That's got to be, because you're in technology, that you had to be really one of the few in your field. And I'm going to try to get this to where it won't let me see more of that. It just keeps putting the happy faces up there. So I felt like I had to prove myself with the guys. And then I can't read the rest because it won't let me drop that down. But yeah, that's that thing of it'll be good because again, 57% of the workforce is women. So eventually there won't be that, right? So as more and more women take leadership, there'll stop being that kind of like I have to be like them. But even with guys, we don't have to, with the board that we have, I still maintain who I am. And, I think what they offer is amazing, but I think what I offer is also amazing. And one doesn't disparage the other or take away from the other. It's just both kind of being okay with it. So we created these downtime activities, and I posted these yesterday maybe. But I wanted to go through these and kind of hear your guys' feedback from this because we've only talked to mainly board advisors or board members and advisors. But these are some of the downtime activities. So what we want to do is create these sponsored activities, and then we'll have some that are just in the conference. But to elevate and create interactivity and really make people think. So I want to hear your thoughts. So one of them is called the Wise Woman Interactive Tree, and with that we have this kind of framework of a tree, and participants basically take cards and then they write down problems that they have, so that they identify with, and then other women will come by and then they'll write in solutions that they have. So again, the whole idea is women cultivating other women, and you have all this knowledge and experience, and so having them actively participate in the conversation. Suzanne asked what your career was for Brianna, but Brianna was a tech, data programmer, IT, something like that. She'll tell you. Super whiz. That's who she is. IT, business analytic, and software development. Dude, in the 70s, it had to be absolutely rare for that. And then one of the cool things we came up with is collage a woman. So we're going to take like words, like as rectangles, and like be mainly like empowerment kind of words, strong, independent, intelligent, and then we have little circles that have those kind of words too. And we'll have people build actual stick figure woman out of the things that represent who they want to be as a woman in the society. So collage a woman, loops of profound women, we have that. Basically writing down like it's like 8th grade or high school. We did this in high school, but you'd write down profound women in your life, and then we would staple it, and then we'd create these rings together like that, and then we'd have this long chain, and then every seminar we bring it back. And so we really end up with this long connected chain of profound women that we can celebrate. And then one of the things is we'll have a board called What Would You Rather? And so they'll have provocative questions like, would you rather lose all your money and valuables or all the pictures you've ever taken? So it'll have questions like that. But I want to ask you guys that too. Would you rather lose everything financially you have, or lose all the pictures, even the digital ones? Which would you rather lose? Money or pictures? So what's funny is I lost both. I'm still okay. So I don't know. You lose your house and stuff, like people burn the house burns down. I lost it all. Well, and we're gonna have a wall called this is better than that, and so basically it'll have the same thing, kind of picking and choosing which you would rather, this is better. So is it better to be pretty or smart, rich or loved, perfect or talented? I like that last part because the whole kind of push has always been girls are perfect, boys are risk takers. And so boys are always designed to fail, right? If we screw up 9 times out of 10, but that 10th time we win, we're winners. But if a woman does everything perfect 9 times out of 10 and messes up once, she failed. And so that's, I got to tell you too, the language that I use with my girls has changed dramatically because the stuff I grew up on is very different. Like I try not to say, girls, you're so pretty, but saying, you're very resilient, you're very, strong, you're very capable. Like really trying to build in words that kind of reinforce who I want them to be, not who they inherently are gifted, right? It's not that they're smart, it's that they work hard, right? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys do that? Do you guys have to change your wording now? Because I know people that grew up in my generation, I mean, you didn't have to think about all that stuff at all. But now, those words really matter, which we actually have one of the things was language matters. And so really putting up kind of talking about the words in the comments that are disparaging for women or that are really designed to kind of minimize things like bitter, cold, ice queen, really words that diminish women. Yeah, so you guys had some feedback already. So some of you guys, both are temporary, focus on the current memory. That's even better. You guys are breaking the mold on this. That's awesome. Wall of positive affirmations. We also have a poetry wall. We'll have the continuous poem. And I like the continuous poem project because we'll actually have where you write one word one sentence of a poem, and then someone will write the next, and then the next, and the next, and then basically creating this free-form poetry that takes a life of its own. I really like that. So it's this collective transition among women from the original idea of where the poem is going to where it ends up. The same thing with continuous drawing, continuous story, mandala coloring breaks, and then Legos, and then I don't know if you guys do those building planks. I love those things. My daughters would build these huge, gigantic plank structures. And then wise women vision boards, which I don't know if you guys have done vision boards, but vision boards are pretty cool. So hopefully, typically what they go from in the beginning is this kind of superficial, this is what I want. And I did vision boards with Connie Praska, who started Retreat to Joy, which is kind of mindfulness for like companies. And I remember I put pants on there. Like I cut out a picture of pants, and I was just like, well, I need more pants. Like, this is my vision board. This is what I see in my future. I'm gonna go get more pants. And I did need pants, but that's different. So we want women to have their vision board, and then cultivate that, and each time they come back to the next seminar, how has their vision board changed? And hopefully it goes from more superficial to really kind of pushing that deep, meaningful parts there. So like many of you guys are already there where, pictures or memories, pictures or money, well, they're both temporary. Live in the moment, live now. Those things don't matter. Like some of you guys are already the wise women. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stephanie, these are white people first world problems I have. You don't know how hard it is to be a white male in this society. I have to get pants. That's the biggest problem in my life, on my vision board, is getting pants. Now, they were nice pants. So they were Michael Kors. I like my Michael Kors. So I don't know if that helps. That might help you guys understand how important my vision board was to me. Very superficial. Very. So, hey, Gina's vision board took her to Disneyland. Well, you guys are nice. All right. Wise women gratitude journaling, because gratitude journaling actually rewires your brain. What is it? Oh, now this is a really great one. I like this one. It used to be called the cathartic shred, but as we all cultivated and transformed it, it became let it go and grow activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3x5 cards, and you get to write whatever horrific things people have ever told you or said about you, or things you believe about yourself, just negativity that's been rambling around in your head. Write it on the card. So now it's here, right? Then we're going to shred those, right? Actively destroy it. And then the board will take those and we're going to burn them later. Can't burn them in the place. We'll burn them and we'll videotape this. We'll live feed it maybe. So then we'll burn it and then we'll use those ashes for a flower garden. So we will take your negative thoughts and grow and nurture beautiful things from there. So that's the Let It Go and Grow activity. We'll have a What It Means to Be Wise Women board. And then the other one is that I love, that really I thought was profound. What is a tape? Is the wall of invalidation. And then IN is crossed out. Wall of invalidation. This is not my truth. So in this activity, we're going to have women write down things that people have said that have been invalidating to them. Like my, friend said I was bossy, or my, bossy. And then someone else will cross out that, or you can, and write assertive, or write what your truth is. So that transformation of saying, here is where I used to think, and this is my new truth, right? So I really like that because there's so much. I cannot tell you. 90%, 95% of my patients are women. And the things that people have told them have limited them their whole life. That sense of invalidation keeps people chained. I don't know if you guys know this. You know how you keep an elephant captive, like a trained elephant? You know how you keep him captive? They put a little spike in the ground and tie a little rope around his leg. That is all it takes to keep one of the strongest animals on earth in one spot. And that's exactly what those words of invalidation have done to most people. Is they actually keep you, this little rope, this bullshit little thing keeps you limited, keeps you here. And with the activity, it's just, anytime the elephant could walk away. At any time. But that's the stuff that we let it happen here. So that let it go and grow. Like get this stuff out of my head and burn it. Because I'm going to write some horrible stuff. Horrible stuff that's in my head. And I'm going to shred that thing. Maybe twice. Because I don't want y'all knowing. And then I'm going to burn that. Like that, see? Wise woman. Her stories. So you know how you have history, his story? It's going to be her story. Her story. Yeah? So if you like that, I came up with it. If not, Tara came up with it. But basically having 2-minute soundboards to where you can kind of talk about, what are your wise moments? What are your cathartic moments? We'll have some 5 questions, kind of like what would you tell your past self or your 16-year-old self? What wise wisdom would you look back and say, hey, this is really what's important about this situation? So I like that because that active, you kind of think, what would you tell yourself? And you start to think, well, man, all those things I thought was so important, it really wasn't that important. Like the things that really made sense back then, that's what I should have been focused on. A couple other really transformative projects we'll have is the word shaming project and the visual shaming project. And so looking at words in magazines and media and society that are used to shame women, and then we can either basically put that up there, or you can correct it and change it or alter it. And the same thing with visual shaming, looking at the way that magazines and articles shame you. It's funny because when I created my logo, I had some comments that were like, that wise woman ICT that's on the advertisements for this. The wise woman ICT one, some were like, well, the breasts are too big. Well, the breasts are too small. Well, she's too thin. She's too skinny. She's too this. Yeah. Now, the comments about her head shape, like it was okay. So I changed the head, right? But because it did look inappropriate. But the rest of those things, it's really interesting because again, the way that other, and I'm not saying anything bad about this, but I just noticed that the way that we conveyed that kind of qualifying thoughts about it was really more of in a shaming way. You know, I don't know. As a guy, I'm gonna dig all this stuff because I'm gonna just kind of look and think, because like my daughters are very strong-willed, strong-minded. You know, they're very like, I mean, two of them are vegans. I mean, what 10-year-old's a vegan? Like, she's 8. I think she's 8 and she's a vegan. But she'll explain in detail why she is and all this kind of stuff and what it means to her. But I love that they're so in tune with who they are. You know, my oldest daughter, she doesn't shave her armpits, she doesn't shave her legs because she doesn't think she has to. If she wants to, she will. But she's not doing it before any kind of convention or doing it for some guy. Like, high school boys don't know what to do with her because she's so, like, just, she's going to thrive in college. But I love that my girls are, like, they are not held back by anything in life. They're not. And so, you know, same thing with, like, my daughter's dress code, you know, the dress code at school. She was just like, why do I have to dress in a certain way that's uncomfortable to me because men can't control themselves? Because the teacher might be turned on, or might be this, or might be that. And that's the truth, is most laws about women are based on what guys can't handle. Right? You guys are utterly conventionalized by men so that we don't get turned on or can't control ourselves. Because that's the whole problem, is if we just, it's not our fault. We can't control ourselves. So for me, I'm an oak, sort of. Well, I don't know. Wise women quotes, the love me wall, philosophical questions. And then we'll also have hashtag hands, where you put your hashtag, something that's wise women that's meaningful to you. And then we'll actually paint some rocks. So the rock painting, that's pretty traditional. Paint those with the hashtags. And then my idea is that we hide them around Wichita and Newton, and then people can find them. And then I thought something should happen. Like, you guys got to help me figure out what that answer is, right? I don't know. Like, I think they should win something or find something, or maybe throw the rock through someone's window that's a jerk. I don't know. And then the last thing was sorry, not sorry. And this is one that we just came up with because, you know, there's that Dove commercial. I think it's Dove or Caress. Tell me if I'm wrong. But it was why do women always apologize for everything? Why do women apologize for having thoughts, questions, feelings, emotions? Like, that's the craziest thing. So I love that sorry, not sorry mentality. And so kind of transforming that, what that means to you. So, like, you know, the idea of like, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. Well, thank you for waiting, you know? Or, I'm sorry I have a dumb question. No, you just have a question, right? So there's this really weird internalizing thing that happens sometimes, and I see it all the time. In fact, there's somebody that keeps Facebooking me, and they're always like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, did I disturb you? Well, just, why the hell are you like putting yourself down for being a human and having a question? Just ask the question. You are a meaningful person. It's okay that you have a question. Just ask the question. So, you know, those kind of little things that maybe that were automated within our brain, that we are just diminished in life. And guys do this too, but I think we see it more towards women that are taught to just, their questions are dumb, they're not good at math, they shouldn't be doing these things, they shouldn't be active, they shouldn't take risks. And so they basically have to apologize for being a human or for doing things that guys do inherently. So, you know, I don't know. I see it all the time. And I don't think my daughters do that, but if they did, I'd be like, you don't have to apologize. You know, what would you like to say, you know? So, I don't know. I'm very excited about this. I really am. And Gina says, my ex lives in Newton. We can throw rocks there. That's what I'm talking about. Throw rocks. Well, here you go. This is what I like. Okay. This is what we'll end with here. All right. Women's rights is the fight for the idea that women should have equal rights with men, not over men, with men, or just like men. Over history, this has taken the form of gaining property rights, because up until the late 1800s, you could not own property. Even if your husband died, you couldn't own the property. That doesn't make sense. The women's suffrage and the right for women to vote, because that's really crazy. A woman voting? That's insane. Like, I don't know what guy was just like, that's crazy talk. Reproductive rights and the right to work for equal pay. Well, that's the craziest thought I've ever heard. Making the same money for the same job? My daughters better make the same damn money for the same job, because it's bullcrap. I'm going to start overturning tables just like Jesus did. I'm going to get all Jesus up at that wherever they work. All right. Well, we've wasted another hour dicking around on the Dr. G show. So, hey, I want to show you this, though. Let me guys see that. So that's that Wise Woman ICT. It's backwards. Maybe if I turn it around. No, that doesn't work. All right. It's not helpful. Anyways, so I'm on the board, but it's Wise Women ICT. And the first seminar is in Newton on September 15th, which is coming up, with meditation, yoga, wine, 7 speakers, active elevation exercises, food, kombucha bar, peppernut tasting, awesome stuff. So, and it's going to be at Prairie Harvest, and they're hosting it, but they're also having it in the mezzanine area, which is the new space that they have for conferences. So hopefully we'll do a bunch more stuff there for other activities too, because that place is awesome. And I don't know, again, it's weird as a guy kind of talking about this, but I made 4 up-and-coming women, so I feel like it's okay for me to talk about this stuff. But I want you guys, I want to kind of hear your thoughts about all the stuff that we talked about today. What were your kind of important things that have elevated you and made you feel comfortable with being who you want to be in life? What are the things that maybe people have said, or other women that have helped you up? Like, who were the wise women in your life, I guess? That might be the most important thing we can do as we close, right? Is I want all of you guys to kind of say who the wise women were in your life, who were the active elevators in your life, like who helped you up, who helped you out of situations, who were the strong, independent, fierce women that you wanted to be like too. So everything that we do together. I mean, we're all in the same boat, we're all going the same direction. And if men could understand that women having rights does not diminish their rights, I think we'll get some forward movement in all this. I'll do my part, you guys do your part, and hopefully my world will be better for my daughters and their daughters. So, all right, this is a little different track we went, but again, it's all tied into health and wellness and mental health and happiness and longevity and all that stuff. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining me again, another hour, and listening to my bad jokes and interesting, hopefully, commentary about stuff. And I'm glad you guys had some great feedback. I'll go through your posts too. And again, post your wise women in your life, your fierce women, strong women, elevating women. All right? And hopefully I'll see you guys at the Wise Women events too. And we'll take pictures together, take selfies, right? All right, you guys. Love you. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.